Did you know that the fork, once considered a scandalous tool for eating, was introduced to Europe in the 11th century, but didn't fully catch on until the 16th century? Welcome to Unboxd Origins. I'm Howie, your resident science geek and accidental trivia sponge.
And I'm Wyatt. I ask the big questions. Sometimes philosophical, often skeptical, always curious.
Today, we're digging into how did formal dining etiquette develop? The story of dining etiquette is like a delicious layered cake, each layer revealing a different cultural influence. It all began in ancient civilizations where communal eating was the norm. Picture this: the Greeks and Romans gathered around a shared table, reclining on couches and enjoying food as a social activity. It was less about etiquette and more about camaraderie. But as societies grew, so did the need for order. Enter the medieval ages. The art of dining took a sharp turn. The introduction of the fork, albeit reluctantly, started to change the game. While some deemed it unnecessary and even a bit pretentious, others saw it as a sign of refinement. Fast forward to the Renaissance, and suddenly, dining etiquette became a reflection of social status. Nobles would flaunt elaborate table settings, complete with multiple forks and knives, each for a specific dish. Meanwhile, the common folk were still using their hands. This divide in dining practices served as a clear indicator of one's station in life. The rules became more complex, and soon, an entire etiquette manual emerged, laying down the law for the elite.
Interesting. But hold on a second. If dining etiquette was all about showcasing social status, doesn't that mean that the very act of eating became a performance? I mean, in some cultures, sharing food is a sign of hospitality and warmth, not a display of hierarchy. Isn't it fascinating how the table can be both a place for connection and a stage for competition?
Absolutely, Wyatt. That's a great point. Dining etiquette continued to evolve through the centuries, especially during the Victorian era, when elaborate dinner parties became the height of sophistication. Guests were expected to follow strict rules, from which fork to use for each course to how to engage in polite conversation. Not adhering to these rules could result in social disgrace. Yikes! By the time the 20th century rolled around, dining etiquette became more relaxed, reflecting societal changes. The rise of casual dining and the decline of rigid class structures led to a mix of old and new traditions. Today, while formal dining still exists, we see a broader acceptance of various dining styles.
And yet, even in casual settings, we still carry remnants of those age-old rules. Isn't it amusing how the fork we once shunned is now a symbol of sophistication?
Exactly. The evolution of dining etiquette matters because it reveals so much about our social dynamics and cultural values. It shows how food can be a bridge, connecting us across different times and places, but also how it can serve as a barrier. So next time you sit down for a meal, consider the layers of history and social complexity that surround your plate.
What once was a simple act of eating has turned into a tapestry of culture and social significance.
If you enjoyed this tasty slice of history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
After all, who knows what other fascinating stories lie behind the everyday things we often take for granted?
So, how did formal dining etiquette develop? Well, it's a feast of history, culture, and social evolution that still impacts how we gather around the table today.